Alright, so these are the CBA review questions, and I'm going to get you started on them if you need help. So, first one says, given the function f of x equals 5x plus 2 and the domain of -3, 0, 8, what's the specified range? So this one's really easy. You just need to use your calculator. So in your calculator, you would go to y equals and type in 5x plus 2. And then after that, you go to second graph. And they told you the domain is -3, 0, and 8. So they gave us the x values. You have to find the y values. And you'll write your answer just like they gave you the domain, commas, and there should be 3 numbers. You just have to make sure you write them from least to greatest. Okay, number 2 says, Anna's mom put $20 into her lunch account each week. She uses $3.75 from her lunch account to buy food every day. Which of the following would represent the range of this situation for one school week? So she starts off with $20, so we know our answer has to have $20 in it. So this letter D does not have 20, so D cannot be it. And then there's also a problem with B, because 20, it says 20 is less than $1.25, and that's not true. So you only have 2 options, really. So to find the numbers, you know that she's using $3.75 every time. So you just have to keep subtracting $3.75. And those are going to give you specific numbers. It's not a range of numbers because she uses that exact amount every single time. So if you subtract $3.75 from 20, you would get $16.25. Then you would get $12.50. And then you would get $8.75. So the only answer that looks like that is answer choice C. They just put it in order from least to greatest like you were supposed to do on problem 1. Okay, next one says, the table below shows the time it takes for an oil rig to drill into the ground. Its distance and time vary directly. How far has been drilled after 1 hour? So this is direct variation. And we're trying to figure out after 1 hour. So this is in minutes, so 1 hour would be 60 minutes, and you have to figure out what goes with 60. So on this one you can just use stat, and you'll get an equation. And then with that equation, you put it into y equals, and then just scroll down to 60 and see what you get. Okay, A3A, determine the slope of each of the following. So on the first one, you do rise over run. Count how much it goes up and how much it goes over. And that'll be your slope. Okay. On number 2, you can either use stat and see what you get for the slope, or you can do the slope formula. And you can also notice that the x's are repeating, so that should kind of give you an idea of what kind of answer you're going to have. Number 3, you need to use the slope formula. And just remember to label your points x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and then number 4, this one is just like number 3. They just gave it to you in a different way. So it says f of 3 equals 2. That really just means the point 3, comma 2. And then f of -9 equals -2. That's the same thing, -9, -2. So now you can use your slope formula again. And then on number 5, first you need to solve for y, so we'd have to use MDR. So you'd subtract 2x, and that would give you 3y equals -2x plus 6. So that's our move step. Now we divide by 3. And then reduce, and we'd have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. And now you just have to find the m value by using mx plus b. So decide which one is your m value. Okay, next one. Every hour at work, you're able to ship out the same number of packages. If in the second hour of work, you have 12 packages, or you've shipped out 12 packages, and by the 5th hour, you've shipped out 30 packages, what's the rate at which you ship out packages? So this is basically asking us for the slope. So first, you would make your point. So in the second hour, it's 12 packages, and in the 5th hour, it's 30. So now you can use your slope formula again. Okay, this one, the graph below shows how John's savings account balance has changed over the course of a year. What's the rate of change of John's savings account in dollars per month? So once again, we're talking about slope. So when you're given a graph, you need to do rise over run. So that means we have to draw a slope triangle. So you gotta look and see how much it goes up and how much it goes over. So on this, these boxes are going by 100. So our rise is 100. And the run, it only goes over 1. So write your answer. Okay, the next one, use the table to find the following features of a linear function. So since we're given a table, anytime you see a table, your first instinct should be use stat. So when you do stat, you're going to get an equation in this form. And so that gives us all 3 answers. Whatever you get here is your slope, and here's your y-intercept, and then the whole equation will go for the equation of the line. Okay, now it says which table has a y-intercept of 0, 3. So first off, if you look at this, our y value is 3, but our x value is not 0, so it can't be A. Same thing on B. Now on the other two, they didn't give us that easy of a thing to do, so you need to use stat on both of them. So once you find your equations, just go to second graph, and see which one matches the table. Or see which one has a y-intercept of 0, 3, sorry. Just scroll to 0 and see if it has 3 next to it on your second graph. Okay, number 3, use the graph below to answer the following questions. X-intercept, it's a coordinate and it's where it crosses the x-axis. Y-intercept, once again, is a coordinate, it's where it crosses the y-axis. Slope, draw your triangle, it's rise over run. And then equation of the line, you're going to write it in this form, and you already know both of them because you found them already. Your m is whatever you get for your slope, and your b is whatever you got for your y-intercept. And just plug them into that equation. Okay, this is the same thing. X-intercept is a coordinate, and it's on the x-axis right there. Y-intercept right there. And slope is your triangle, and it's rise over run. But remember, since it's going down, your rise value is going to be negative. So the slope is a negative slope. And then your equation, do the same thing as you did on the last one. Mx plus b, plug in your 2 numbers for m and b. Okay, the function f of t equals negative 10t plus 3000 represents the height in feet of a skydiver t seconds after opening the parachute. What's the height before he opens his parachute? So this is your y-intercept. That's where he started. So that is the height before he opened it. And then it says, what's the 0 of this situation? So 0 is your x-intercept. And so an x-intercept is when you have a number and 0. So you know that the y value is 0. So you can use that and plug it into your equation. So you'd have 0 equals negative 10t plus 3,000. Now you can solve it for t. So you'd subtract 3,000 to both sides. So 0 minus 3,000 is negative 3,000. And then your last step would be to divide by negative 10, and that'll give you your answer. T equals whatever you get. And what does this represent? Well, when the y value is 0, that's whenever the skydiver hits the ground. So you'd say when he hits the ground. Okay, next, which of the following statements describes the transformation of the function below? So if it's -1 on the outside, that's automatically down. So it has to go down 1, not left or right, but down. And then a 2 in the front is vertical stretch. And I will let you find your answer. This one, use the word bank to describe each transformation. So if you have 1/2 x, that's going to be, since anything inside the parentheses is horizontal, and then since it's between 0 and 1 on the board, it will tell you it is a stretch. But it also has +3, which that means it's horizontal, so it's either going to be left or right. And since it's plus, horizontal is always the opposite, and so plus actually means go to the left, so it's a shift left. So on the second 2, use the board and figure out which words go in the blanks. Okay, and then this one, we need something that has a vertical stretch, and it shifts up 3. So up, it has to be outside the parentheses, so up is +7 like these. So it's not B or C. And then vertical shift, look and see where vertical goes, if it's something that's inside the parentheses or outside the parentheses. Okay, given the arithmetic sequence below, determine which term number will give you negative 28.8. So if you set up your table, the first term is 5.7. The second term is 3.4, the third one is 1.1, fourth is negative 1.2, and the fifth is negative 3.5. So use stat and find the equation, and whatever equation you get, put it into y equals, and see which number gives you negative 28.8. Okay, and then it's the same idea on this one. What will the 105th term be for the sequence below? So first make a table. Our first term has 2 boxes. Our second one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes. And the third one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boxes. So put it in stat, and then use y equals. And scroll all the way down to 105. And that'll be your answer.